Hey guys, I want to go over my strategy a little bit in this crypto market. Things are changing within the market, and you might not notice right away on the charts, but it's looking a lot brighter than what it did a year or a couple months ago. And I just want to transparently tell you about what I'm going to do. So, about being risk on, risk off, when I'm going to be in what, and the things that I can or can't predict. Do with it whatever you want, especially don't do with it whatever you want. It's just my strategy. I would like to share that. Let me know down in the comments how you are navigating this crypto market right now, because it's not an easy market for a lot of people. But it is what it is, man. This is the market and we have to play this, right? So welcome to the Fomo Factory. If you like the video already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. Now, there are a lot of crypto influencers, people on YouTube, and there are good people giving you good information. There are some people that you can better ignore. What I just like to do is just simply talk about what I think is going to happen based on, right? And then we can take our best bet. That's never, from my side, a prediction like, guys, this is going to happen, because let's admit it, we all don't know. But the market now is giving me some pretty clear signals. So let's get over that. Now, you may have probably already seen it. But in the latest FOMC meeting, the Fed announced that they were going to slow down QT. So they didn't stop QT, but they were slowing it down. Now, what does that mean actually? And why is everybody talking about it? Because if you like altcoins, then this is the stuff that you want to know, I guess, right? So what we talked about many times before are altcoins on their Bitcoin pair. So this is basically alt season, right? Up alt season, down Bitcoin season. Now, this is very correlated to the Fed balance sheet. If you overlay the Fed balance sheet, you can basically see that, you know, the only times that we don't have an alt season is when there is QT, right? When they are reducing the balance sheet. You can see right here, they're reducing it, and alt season is just not there. Here, same, they're reducing it, and alt season is completely fading away, slowing down. Whenever we don't have QT, like here or here, you can see that altcoins tend to perform very well. Now, we have been in QT for the last 3 years, basically. Now, the Fed first hinted that QT is likely going to stop somewhere mid-2025. That's already, for me, something that I feel like, okay, if that's the case, right, you'll never know, but if that's the case and altcoins are correlated to the balance sheet, then it's for me pretty obvious what the best bet is, right? Now, the day before yesterday announced that they were going to slow down QT, and not a little, right? They were reducing their balance sheet with, if I'm not mistaken, $25 billion per month. That now got reduced to 5. So that's a reduction of 80%. So it's not that it's the end of QT, but it's pretty close to it, right? So that's for the risk assets, a pretty positive thing. Now, it's not something that you'll notice right away, right? Like here, they stopped QT as well, and altcoins slowly grind up. But it was not that we were in a full-blown alt season right away, right? But you also may not want to wait too long after getting that news. So the macro conditions for altcoins are starting to look a lot better. So when it comes to my strategy right now, and I want to talk about why that strategy as well. My strategy at this moment is first understanding what the likely outcome is for Bitcoin. And I'm not saying what the outcome is, we don't know that, but what the likely outcome is. Now, in my opinion, the likely outcome for Bitcoin is that it hasn't made all-time highs yet. Right? It made an all-time high, but not that it's not topped out yet for this cycle. And that will go on for a while. The reason being is, first off, it's beginning of 2025, right? So far, we very simply, we can always in every cycle overcomplicate and say, well, this time is different because of this and that. But look at full history, it never has been, right? And so far it isn't. So it would be just unwise to now say like, yo, it's going to be different. Like, yeah, go with the trend. The trend is so far not different, right? So Bitcoin tops out always so far at the end of the post-halving year. I'm not gonna say like, well, this was it in January. Like that's a whole year difference. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Also, there are a lot of other charts that show why Bitcoin is likely not topped out yet. And you might feel like, who cares about Bitcoin? If it wasn't for Bitcoin, then your altcoins wouldn't exist, right? So let's start there. If Bitcoin is now going into a full bear market, yeah, then we can talk about altcoins all we want. But what's the purpose, right? Another reason why I think that Bitcoin hasn't, topped out yet is very simple. If you look at the bull market peak signals, right, you can see right here there are 30 peak indicators that are not always correct. But if you put them all together, then yeah, if the majority says like, hey, we are peaking right now, then you should consider that it's actually peaking, right? And that goes for the pi cycle top indicator, the MVRVZ score, all these things, right? We have 30 different indicators right here. None of the 30 have flashed yet. None of them, right? So again, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin has to make a new all-time high, but it's, again, the story of betting on the fastest horse. Yeah, this is the fastest horse to bet on, right? To say that Bitcoin hasn't topped out yet. It could be that the handicap horse will still win this race, definitely. But to bet on that, it's just simply not smart. Apart from that, the risk for Bitcoin is now sitting at 0. Let's say 5. Right? 0.5 risk for Bitcoin. If you look at Bitcoin's history, Bitcoin here tops at 1 risk. Here it topped at 1 as well. Here it topped at 0.92. It's not diminishing because this first market, it topped at 0.85, right? So Bitcoin, and this has nothing to do with diminishing returns, by the way. This is just different indicators that come up with a risk metric score. If you look how high it went this time, we got to 7.3, right? In March 2024, right? Instead of end of 2025. So Bitcoin always stops when it's flashing red, right? Red, red, red. We're now at like, what, I don't even know what this color is, like greenish, something like that. It's not red, right? If we will top out at, let's say, 0.9, which is slightly average, I think, then it will give Bitcoin a price of around $200,000. Now, for the people that listen to this and say and think to themselves like, $200,000 Bitcoin, are you retarded? Like it's now 80,000, can never happen. We're talking about Bitcoin. Like it can happen, it will happen. The question is when, right? But to say that a 2x for Bitcoin in a post-halving year is not possible, then you might want to look back at what Bitcoin did previously in the post-halving years, right? So I think that actually aiming for 200K is not even bullish. That's more like, okay, it's probably what we should expect, but let's be a little cautious, right? Like, yeah, to be honest, again, it's not a prediction, but we also don't have to set the bar too low. That could also be a danger. And I can go over many, many reasons why Bitcoin hasn't topped out, in my opinion, yet. We could take a look at the logarithmic regression band for Bitcoin, and it always gets at least close to the upper band, right? Here, 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 here. Now we didn't even leave the green band yet. So Bitcoin has so far always been in a buying territory, basically. So, opinions will probably be divided about this, but in my opinion, Bitcoin hasn't topped out by far yet, price-wise and time-wise. So that would mean that if Bitcoin goes higher, will altcoins go higher? If altcoins hold up on their Bitcoin pair while Bitcoin goes higher, then altcoins go higher, right? If altcoins go up on their Bitcoin pair while Bitcoin goes higher, altcoins go way higher. If altcoins go down on the Bitcoin pair and Bitcoin goes higher, then it depends how much higher does Bitcoin go, how much lower do alts Bitcoin go. Can they hold up on the dollar pair? Can they go up a little bit with it? Will they go down? Overall, for me, check one, Bitcoin higher. Check number two for me is altcoins on the Bitcoin pair. We just spoke about this whole QT story. People, they, when altcoins are still not in their moment, still not having their moment yet, people like to come up with reasons why altcoins will never perform again, right? We had that last market as well. And now you see it a lot around you as well, right? Altcoins will never perform again. You win altcoins, you wreck yourself, yada yada yada, and that's normal. Matter of fact, that's negative sentiment, which is a bull indicator, actually, right? However, the QT story, that's kind of tackled right now, right? We now have an actual reduction, which is close to the stop of QT. And again, there wasn't a moment in the market where we did not have an alt season one that wasn't QT. So that's already one really good thing. And other reasons why I think that alts will run is one, again, QT. Bad sentiment, that's a very good indicator that altcoins will do really well. Two, as well, the fact that I don't see reasons why they won't, if you understand what I mean. You often heard people say like, well, there are too many altcoins. I get that, but we spoke about that before. There are like 40 million altcoins right now, of which 30 million plus on Solana, which are already rugged or dead or non-existent. The liquidity will and literally cannot go there. So the amount of altcoins out there is not really important. You have to take a look at the amount of altcoins that actually takes liquidity. And that's by far not that much. I don't really see much reasons why they can't run. Then some people always look at previous cycles and then feel like, yeah, well, we had alt season here in March and it's now almost April. So it's later, it's different, won't happen, right? Yeah, whatever, even if it happens in August, it doesn't really matter. It's a 4-year cycle. A couple months difference is not different to me, if you understand what I mean, right? So apart from all of that, I look at this chart and I just be like, at the trend line at the beginning of the post-halving year. Trend line, beginning post-halving year. Trend line, beginning post-halving year. What a coincidence, right? What happened after that? Fed alt season. Now again, even if we don't get a fed alt season like earlier, but even if we get a little pathetic bounce, that would already be quite bullish for alts. And I've said this many times before, and I know that the content might be a little repetitive, but the market doesn't change a lot lately as well. And I think that practicing patience and persistence and holding on and believing in something now is more important than sucking up new information about the same market every day. So it's important to understand that investing today won't make you necessarily rich tomorrow. And I think that a lot of people kind of expected that, or bought the top in the middle of the hype and wrote it down and wrecked themselves. And you should understand that these low levels, this is where the opportunity is. Buying up here, that's not the opportunity, right? Buying down here is the opportunity. Plus, the lower it is right now, the lower it will go as we are closer to the bottom, wherever the bottom is, right? And it's further from the top. So if you are in the luxury position to buy right now, ignore the people that call you crazy, because these are the same people who bought a lot higher. You're buying at a better moment, right? So in my opinion, altcoins will run. I'm not going to put my finger on when. I've said before, end of 2024, beginning 2025 was my prediction based on the cycle. right? Was a good bet to take, right? Didn't play out like that, right? It's like it's March. Can you still call the beginning to like I don't know. Let me say this. That didn't play out. Then again, whatever, right? If you feel like, ooh, I needed to follow you and I would have bought it somewhere here to at least make sure that I got the exposure for end 2024, then you at least got this pump. If you didn't take your profits, fine, that's on you, right? Now we're down here, right? What's the difference from here, whatever, to here? Like, doesn't really matter. It's a matter of now holding on and believing in something. So my strategy at this moment, right now, I'm not in stables. Well, I have stables definitely, but I am not fully out of the market, right? Why? Because we are in a bull market. You might not feel like it's a bull market if you look at your portfolio, but it's also a matter of timing and buying the right coins. Um, Altcoins on their Bitcoin pair are not in a bull market. Definitely not, right? They look like they are very close to the end of the bear market. However, if you look at Bitcoin, obviously in a bull market, and even if you look at altcoins on the dollar pair, it's in a bull market, right? Being in stables right now only seems a little unwise to me because there is a risk of missing out. And that can really wreck people, right? Now, I have around 30% stables, I think. Makes me feel comfortable. It's not the right number, right? That is different per individual. I just feel comfortable having exposure in a market where I feel like there is way more upside than downside, but I also feel comfortable holding cash in case whatever happens, right? You don't want to be all in, never, but you also don't want to be all out, at least not at this stage of the market. Now, am I now in Bitcoin or buying Bitcoin? At this moment, I don't see the purpose. We spoke about that a couple years ago when this chart was looking way higher, right? And I admittedly should have been fully in Bitcoin, right? Or in cash or whatever. Luckily, I was for a big part. But next cycle, I'm just be stubborn, Bitcoin only, man. Whatever. Just wait for alts. Will come, right? If you miss out on alts a little bit, fine, doesn't matter. You didn't miss out on BTC, so who cares, right? But I'm now not buying Bitcoin. Again, this is altcoins on the Bitcoin pair. If this chart is really high, then it's a good idea to sell your alts for Bitcoin or to buy Bitcoin maybe. But when this chart is low, it simply says like, hey, alts have a lot more upside than BTC at this moment, right? However, then it's important for me to think about which alts, because the market for altcoins, the low cap, the speculative altcoins, isn't that nice. So I am not in these risky meme coins, in these AI agent coins, whatever the hype was. Now there isn't even a hype, right? The hype is not losing money. It's fucking weird, right? But I'm not in these kind of things. I'm in the I'm not gonna list them all, but I'm in the Ethereums, in the CeDeFis, the Chain GPTs, the not even in Solana. I think Solana is a different case, but I'm in the AVAXs, Joe, Render, Tau, like the coins that still are risky, but won't get wrecked with 95%, right? A little defensive, but still a lot of upside. If the market goes down, then I won't lose 80% of my money, right? If the market, however, goes up, I still ride it up, right? Even with Ethereum right now at 2K, I feel like there are multiple exits to make with only Ethereum. Then later in this market, when the shift is confirmed, I will put these safer altcoins in the more risky coins. And I got a list of coins with a 400,000 up to a $4 million market cap that I have on my shopping list, but I am not buying them right now, right? These coins have a chance of dying in these market conditions, of course. So also won't mention them here. But that I will do if and when the market allows. Now, that can take a while, but it can also flip around very fast. As you can see right here in 2021 as well, we were still in a bear for alts. And from one day on the other, we went into a full explosive altcoin bull, right? Don't like think that that can't happen, right? Doesn't have to, but it's good, right? And the sentiment will change very, very quickly then. Um, there's one benefit in this market right now, actually. And this time, we don't have to stress about where's the money coming from, right? Like that's not a problem in the first place. They print it. Money is getting printed, right? Like where is the money coming from? Well, there it's coming, it's literally out of thin air, literally, right? But that's not even the concern right now. Because if you look at the total crypto market, you can see that there's already $2.7 trillion in the market right now, right? Of which just 227 billion is in altcoins, right? So others' dominance is just 8.4%. So in this case, it's not even a matter of like we need new money, although I think there will be new money, but it's more a matter of like, hey, there's already money in the market. Cool, let it flow. And that's just the domino effect, right? Like that's not, we need one push, whatever that push might be, we will get it one day. And then the dominoes will fall. Then people will look at an altcoin going up, be like, "Ooh, get in!" And then people from the outside look at it and be like, "Oh, altcoin's going up. Let me get in." And retail comes in, and then the party is on. Because let me be clear about what I see so far is that retail doesn't care about Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin can go up, right? Bitcoin making fat new all-time highs, but the retail numbers, YouTube viewers, etc., they come look at it, but be like, oh, okay, whatever, right? When does retail actually, start to moon? Yeah, that's basically when altcoins start to moon, right? Beginning 2021, right? Here as well, 2017, right? Especially the end of it. That's when alt season started. Now, does altseason start because of retail or does retail come because of altcoins? I think both could be true. But now in this market, you have to understand retail is low, like really, really low. And you might look at this and be like, oh, that's bad. Same as looking at the fear and greed index, right? Low numbers. Yeah, you know what they say, buy the fear and sell the greed. Well, this is fear, right? This is like, this is not even fear. This is no one is here right now. So if no one is here, then there's no one to sell, right? But the people that are potentially coming to buy, they can still come. So I don't know. I look at this market and I am very optimistic. Could it, go down in the short term? Sure, I don't know, man. I'm not gonna predict stuff like that anymore. But overall, it's a market of holding on, hanging on. And I do notice that the views on this channel have been declining very hard as well. It goes together with this right here, right? I've been talking kind of about this stuff for a couple months now, and I get that it's repetitive. But still, I think that this is the moment, a typical moment in the crypto market where we are getting tested right now. And the few people that play that well, they can win this game, right? If you look at 2017, there were also coins like Steam from April 2016. It went up like big rally, like we have seen last December, and then went down really slow, and but also a lot, right? In a matter of like a year, basically. And then from that point, yeah, like this was wrecking, right? It took a long time, and in the time it went down 98%. What we see right now is nothing compared to 2017. Absolutely nothing. If you think you are wrecked right now, please, right? But still, then these coins that got wrecked so hard also pumped 15,000%. It's a 1500x, right? Like, and that was on a high cap, right? Everything was low cap back then, but and that's just because everybody sold. There was no liquidity anymore. So if it goes down right now, it's only a sign to me like that the pump is going to be harder. So I want to wrap it up right here. Let me know what your strategy is. So, to wrap up my strategy, after that altcoin moment, season, relief, reversal, pump, whatever you want to call it, has happened, I will sell everything, right? And just get out. And I will talk about it by then, like what are the top indicators looking at for me, but if I sell a little too soon, a little too late, or I'm just DCA out, I don't care. And then just get out of every altcoin, right? Doesn't matter which one, because altcoins are just not immune to bear markets, right? So even if you love a project so much by then, great, sell it so you can buy it very low in the next bear. Then you have more of the coins that you love so much. It's the best tactic in my opinion. So I'm now gonna wrap it up. Guys, thanks for watching. If you like the video, check out the WAP down below as well. If you want to do some one-on-one calls, see my portfolio, what I'm buying, exclusive videos, etc., do check it out. I wish you a very nice weekend and I'll speak to you soon.